Ashley. I am the owner and founder of A Pink Apron, which is my small bakery business located in Dublin, Ohio. We specialize in a lot of things, but specifically vegan and gluten-free goodies. And Mrs. Rizola has asked me to tell you guys a little bit about my business, and I'm also going to walk you through how to make our brown butter chocolate chunk cookies, which are a fan favorite for a lot of people that order cookies with us. So I'm excited to do that for you guys today. And one of my favorite things about running a business, specifically a bakery, is the creative freedom that I have to just come up with new recipes and spend my time thinking and dreaming about what that can look like, especially for customers who have a specific vision. It's a lot of fun to get to work with them and just really use my creativity in a way that creates a product that they really love and I'm really proud of. And so I think that is one of my favorite things about running a bakery and a business, and I'm excited to show you how to make some cookies today. Okay, so first things first, I did put on an apron and I washed my hands, got gloves on, so I'm ready. In this recipe, we are tripling it to make 60 cookies instead of 20. So it calls for 1.5 cups of butter, which is 3 sticks of butter. And I'm just gonna dice those and we're going to melt them. This is the brown butter part of the brown butter chocolate chunk cookies. Okay, so now that my butter is all diced, I'm going to put it in my pan and turn my pan on to medium heat. Oops. Okay, and we're gonna let that simmer and it will melt and you'll start to see these brown bits form at the bottom of the pan. And once that begins happening, we'll take it off of the heat. I'm gonna stir it until the brown bits start to appear. I'm gonna take it off the heat, and then we'll have our browned butter, and that will be an essential part of this recipe. Alright, so I'm going to take it off the heat now that you can kind of see those brown bits at the bottom of the pan. It's a little hard to see with the phone, but those little brown bits, that means that our butter is successfully browned and ready to sit aside to cool for a little bit. So now that the butter is cooling, we are going to start mixing all of our other ingredients together, and we'll add in that butter once it's a little bit more cooled. So I'm just going to set it on. Okay, so first what we're going to do is add the sugars and molasses and egg yolk and vanilla all together. And again, for 60 cookies, it will be 1.5 cups of white sugar and 1.5 cups of dark brown sugar. Okay, for the dark brown sugar, I like to make sure that it's packed in. So it's wanting 3 eggs and 3 egg yolks. So I'm gonna crack 3 eggs in here, and then I'll show you how to get the egg yolks while not getting the egg whites. Our 3 eggs. And we do have a compost, so I'm going to go ahead and throw these eggshells into our compost. Most of our eggs come from a farm in Marengo, Ohio, so we like to compost and give them to the farmers there who use them to feed their chickens and soil their, add nutrients to their soil. So we'll give that compost to them. So those are our 3 eggs, and then we're gonna crack 3 egg yolks. I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer to show you what that looks like. To get the egg yolk, not the egg white, you're gonna crack it like normal. And when you split it apart, you should have 2, not exactly equal, but 2 egg parts. And you're just gonna kind of put the egg yolk, you're gonna transfer it back and forth into these 2 parts and try to separate the yolk from the white. And once you feel like you've separated it, I'm gonna dump the yolk into my bowl and leave the egg white behind in this bowl. So we're gonna do that 2 more times. Just gonna transfer it. There may be a different way of doing this as well. This is just, I think, easiest for me. So yeah, again, have that egg yolk, and we're just gonna put that into the bowl. And just do that once more. And then I will save these egg whites for, I have other recipes that just call for egg whites, so I can always save it, which is nice. Don't have to throw anything away and want to try to reduce waste as much as possible. You can have that egg yolk. It's okay if a little bit of egg white gets in there. Okay, and then 2 tablespoons of vanilla. There's 1. And there's 2. And then molasses will be 1 tablespoon of molasses, which this is very sticky. Try to just get it right into my bowl and nowhere else. Now that everything is in there, we're gonna go ahead and mix it all together. All right, so we're gonna mix this until it is well combined. While that's mixing, I'm gonna go grab the butter and we'll pour the cooled down butter directly into this mixing bowl. It's on the lowest speed it can go, and I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing in the butter. And just so you can see, these are the leftover brown bits. It doesn't look super appetizing, but there is a ton of flavor in the browned butter, so we are gonna add that in. While that's mixing, I'm going to go ahead and start measuring out our dry ingredients, which we need 4.5 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and then our chocolate chips and chocolate chunks. Typically, some recipes ask you to combine the dry ingredients and then add them to the wet ones. This one you can if you want to, but it doesn't really matter. I kind of just add them as I'm measuring them, so not all recipes you can do that, but this one, it doesn't really matter. So we're just going to start with our flour, and it's 4.5 cups of flour. So this is 1. And we're just going to turn it down to the, I'm going to turn it off for a sec so I can add it in. And then put it on the lowest speed to incorporate. And once I know it's not going to fly all over the place, I'll turn it up another speed. And then I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process. We also need 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. Which half of a tablespoon is 1.5 teaspoons, and this is 1/2 of a tablespoon. So we're gonna add in 1/2 tablespoon or 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. All right, that is 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoons of salt, and we're gonna mix it all together. It is looking a little bit more like dough now. These are the dark chocolate chips, and we are going to measure those out in the scale that I have. So here's that scale. And we want 12 ounces, so I'm gonna grab a bowl, and I'm gonna make sure the unit is on ounces, and I'm gonna measure the bowl with nothing in it, and then hit tare, so that weight isn't added in, and I want 12 ounces. All right, and that is about 12. If you don't have a scale, another way of measuring is converting ounces to cups. So 4 ounces is 1/2 cup, 8 ounces is a cup. So to get 12, you would do 1.5 cups. I just think that the scale is a little bit more accurate, but if you don't have one, 1.5 cups works as well. I'm gonna add those in there. We're gonna do the same thing with the chocolate chunks. All right, that's about 9 ounces. Here is the chocolate chips and the dough, and we're gonna put that on low speed. So that's good, and then I will also take this out and kind of mix it again by hand just to make sure that all the chocolate chips are incorporated. I don't want to be too hard on my mixer, so we are gonna mix that together with hand, and then I will scoop out the cookie dough balls, and then you guys are going to bake them. So that's pretty much it. That's how you make the brown butter chocolate chunk cookies, and I hope that you guys enjoy them. And you can always contact us on apinkapron.com or on Instagram, we're apinkapron. Feel free to also email me at ashley@apinkapron.com. I know that you guys have graduations coming up and events, so if you need us to cater for anything, we are happy to help. But aside from that, if you have any questions or tips or want any tips and tricks, I'm happy to help. So feel free to reach out and email me. You have an amazing teacher as well who is willing to bend over backwards for you guys. So I definitely think you have an amazing resource there as well. So thank you so much for following along, and I hope you enjoy the cookies.